Ever dreamed of a thrilling blend between futuristic tech and old-school justice? Buckle up. Today, we're unraveling the untold saga of Knight Rider, the 80s cult classic that mesmerized viewers with its talking car, heroic missions, and dash of sci-fi magic. Get ready, because we're about to explore 20 astonishing revelations behind this legendary show. 1. The Western roots inspired by the Lone Ranger. When we picture Knight Rider, most of us see a sleek, black Pontiac Trans Am bursting through roadblocks at high speed, hardly the image of a dusty Wild West duel. Yet, creator Glenn A. Larson imagined it as a modern take on the Lone Ranger. Michael Knight, with his sense of honor and willingness to wander from place to place helping people, reflects the traveling lawman archetype. Meanwhile, KITT, though mechanical and artificially intelligent, takes on the role of a loyal partner, akin to Tonto. The inspiration didn't stop at Western motifs. Larson also peppered in references to iconic sci-fi. 2001, A Space Odyssey's eerie HAL 9000 influenced KITT's calm, almost eerie intelligence, while the signature red scanner on KITT's hood found its origin in the menacing Silent Eye from Battlestar Galactica, another Larson production. The spark for a talking car, intriguingly enough, came from a little-known German movie called Superbug Goes Wild, featuring a chatty VW Beetle that refused to stay silent. By merging the Wild West's timeless theme of roaming justice with futuristic AI concepts, Larson gave audiences a world where tumbleweeds were replaced by turbo boosts, and trusty horses were swapped for a supercar that could speak, reason, and protect. This fusion of cowboy courage and high-tech wizardry became the show's calling card, offering viewers both nostalgic heroics and a glimpse of tomorrow's technology. It's a rare pairing that still resonates, proving that whether you're riding horseback on desert trails or cruising highways in an AI-powered Trans Am, a steadfast sense of right and wrong never goes out of style. 2. Nearly cancelled at the pitch before Knight Rider roared onto television screens, it faced the looming threat of never seeing the light of day. NBC executives were initially reluctant about backing a show focused on a talking car, especially after the spectacular failure of My Mother the Car in the 1960s. That earlier sitcom, involving a reincarnated mom stuck in a 1928 Porter automobile, had bombed so severely it became a punchline in Hollywood. Given that dire precedent, many at NBC felt the concept of yet another personified vehicle was simply too risky. They feared audiences would recall the comedic disaster of talking cars past and tune out in droves. However, Larson was determined to shape his vision into a high-octane action-adventure, far removed from the corny elements that had haunted My Mother the Car. Unlike that comedic misfire, Knight Rider would feature gritty plotlines, an ever-present sense of danger, and a genuinely impressive AI automobile. Larson's persistence and knack for negotiation convinced the network to take a leap of faith. The result? A pilot episode that dazzled test audiences with chase scenes, stunts, and David Hasselhoff's easy charm. Once viewers saw KITT in all its bulletproof, turbo-boosted glory, NBC's concerns about repeating history melted away. Instead of being relegated to the scrap heap of unrealized scripts, Knight Rider found itself greenlit, paving the way for 4 roller coaster seasons. This near failure transformed into a glowing triumph, reminding everyone that an idea dismissed by many as too out there can become a cultural phenomenon if executed with enough passion, style, and conviction. 3. KITT, a cutting-edge. Knight Industries 2000. Few television vehicles boast as many bells and whistles as KITT, short for Knight Industries 2000. On screen, this iconic car was presented as a law enforcement wonder, seemingly plucked from the future. Officially a heavily modified 1982 Pontiac Trans Am, KITT featured technology that gave it near invulnerability and mind-blowing functionality. Picture a supercomputer loaded with a then unheard-of 1000 megabits of memory, layered over a trihelical plasteel molecular bonded shell that deflected bullets and shielded occupants from explosive impacts. Under the hood, viewers were told of turbojet engines with afterburners, ideal for those heart-stopping leaps, and an array of fancy-sounding devices such as harmonic synthesizers, anamorphic scanners, and anionic equalizers. While much of this tech was fictional or exaggerated, it succeeded in persuading fans that something this advanced might just be lurking around the next corner. In a clever nod to marketing complexities, Pontiac requested the show not to label the Trans Am too explicitly. Executives worried fans would flock to car dealerships expecting their brand new Pontiac to talk, jump, and outrun the bad guys on voice command. Straddling the line between imagination and tangibility, KITT became a star in its own right. It wasn't simply a background prop, it was the loyal sidekick, confidant, and comedic foil all wrapped into one. Thanks to a meticulously structured personality and a litany of futuristic features, KITT turned from a mere vehicle into one of television's most memorable characters, long after the final episode rolled off the production line. 4. The lightning-fast design process behind every on-screen wonder lies a frenzied scramble to make fantasy real, and KITT's origin was no exception. Designer Michael Sheff and his dedicated crew had just 2 weeks, practically no time at all in Hollywood, to transform a plain Pontiac Trans Am into something that visually screamed state-of-the-art. With this insanely tight deadline, they worked around the clock, scouring local shops and fabricators for materials that could be altered into KITT's futuristic dashboards, panels, and monitors. The result was a captivating interior that radiated advanced sophistication. Flashing lights, digital displays, and a molded dash gave the impression of an artificially intelligent presence, years before modern navigation systems became commonplace. Each piece of hardware was custom-built for the show. Even the now iconic sweeping red scanner on the front demanded precision engineering. Rigging that light bar required exact angles to achieve the classic left-to-right motion so many fans recognize. Though the team was perpetually short on time and resources, their craftsmanship endured. Decades later, fans still hail KITT's style as iconic, and replicas keep popping up in car clubs and fan conventions worldwide. The design process itself came to symbolize the very spirit of Knight Rider: improvisation, creativity, and innovation on the fly. With sweat and a daring vision, Sheff's crew turned a stock muscle car into a glossy machine that beckoned viewers into a high-tech playground where adventure was only a turbo boost away. 5. Glenn A. Larson's golden deal. When Glenn A. Larson negotiated Knight Rider's production terms, he set himself up for a financial home run that most showrunners only dream about. In a world where creators often see minimal profits once studios handle merchandising, Larson secured a remarkable 50-50 split on all Knight Rider-related products. This gave him an equal share in toys, model kits, apparel, and anything else sporting KITT's likeness or Michael Knight's heroic grin. To say that was an uncommon arrangement is putting it mildly. Studios typically hold the lion's share of merchandise profits, giving the creative minds behind a show a smaller cut or sometimes none at all. But Larson's foresight and business shrewdness allowed him to maintain significant control over how the show's brand would be marketed and monetized. The result was a gold rush of licensed items, miniature KITT replicas with working scanner lights, children's lunchboxes, t-shirts, posters, and even board games. By the mid to late 80s, Knight Rider fan merchandise was nearly as ubiquitous as the show itself, appealing to youngsters who wanted to relive KITT's adventures and grown-ups who appreciated the sleek design. Larson once described this deal as one of the best in television history, a rare instance of a creator harnessing the full potential of his show's popularity. That savvy move gave Knight Rider a second life off-screen, funding future projects and ensuring that as long as KITT soared through pop culture, Larson would share in the spoils of his enduring success. 6. From robotic to relatable, William Daniels' voice performance. Fans might be surprised to learn that KITT was nearly introduced with a heavily synthesized, monotonous voice reminiscent of old-school computer systems. In the early stages, producers toyed with the idea of making KITT purely mechanical. But actor William Daniels saw something else entirely. He believed an emotionally engaging, slightly witty persona could set KITT apart from every other on-screen robot of the era. Daniels lobbied for a warm, almost paternal tone, giving KITT the ability to banter, show concern, and even dish out mild sarcasm. The transformation was revolutionary. KITT went from a clunky machine to a character with heart. This empathic approach allowed the car to share comedic moments with Michael Knight and also provide moral guidance when things got tense. Viewers quickly became more enamored with KITT than with many human leads on other shows, largely because the AI felt so approachable and wise. The key lay in Daniels' signature brand of vocal nuance. Whether KITT was warning Michael about a risky jump or quipping about fuel efficiency, that calm yet discerning cadence was instantly recognizable. This creative pivot proved that a voice can elevate a concept, turning a cool gadget into a beloved personality. Instead of crossing wires to spark emotion, the production team entrusted Daniels to infuse genuine warmth. Fans continue to celebrate KITT's voice as a standout feature of Knight Rider, a shining example that technology on screen doesn't have to be cold, it can be as human as we need it to be. 7. The almost TATT dilemma. Imagine if we'd come to know KITT by a very different name, TATT, short for Trans Am 2000. That was the original plan, a nod to the vehicle's basis in the Pontiac Trans Am line. Producers felt that calling attention to the brand might tie the storyline to a real-world muscle car, hoping it would resonate with automotive enthusiasts eager for fast, fearless design. However, Wilton Knight's fictional Knight Industries provided a more intriguing backdrop for the show's futuristic technology. Rebranding the car as Knight Industries 2000 suggested a comprehensive, secretive enterprise that could spawn both advanced AI and bulletproof bodywork. It also boosted the aura of exclusivity. KITT was no mere factory car, but rather a one-of-a-kind prototype built by the philanthropic yet mysterious Wilton Knight. Shedding the TATT label helped sever direct ties to mundane commercial marketing, allowing the scriptwriters to imbue KITT with near-mythic status. It transformed the car into a distinct personality, no longer just another Trans Am rolling off an assembly line. The name KITT conjured an image of technological might and unwavering loyalty, rather than simply an acronym referencing the brand. In the end, the choice to rename the car left fans with a vehicle that transcended being just a product, strengthening its place as a timeless TV icon. 8. The unseen credits of William Daniels. People often do double takes when they discover that William Daniels, the voice behind KITT, didn't appear in the show's credits for years. It's true, his name wasn't featured in the opening or closing sequences, at his own request. Daniels believed that leaving his name out would bolster the illusion that KITT was an authentic, self-aware entity. In an era where special effects still had their limitations, maintaining that illusion was invaluable. Audiences not only accepted KITT as real, but they often forgot there was an actor behind the clever banter and gentle admonishments. Fans approached Daniels in restaurants and airports, recognizing his distinct voice instantly. Most would exclaim, "You're KITT." A testament to how ingrained that disembodied presence had become. For Daniels, this anonymity was liberating. He could discreetly observe the show's reception among viewers without drawing the same attention as on-camera celebrities. By the time The Secret was out, KITT had already cemented its place in pop culture history. Daniels' hidden credit strategy contributed to that success, turning the talking car into more than a scripted role. It became a phenomenon in its own right. Even decades later, many still associate the actor's voice with the signature hum of scanning lights and the unwavering friendship offered by that unstoppable black Trans Am. 9. Speedy voice recording sessions. One might assume that giving life to KITT meant countless hours in recording booths, watching footage and matching lines precisely. In fact, William Daniels recorded nearly all of his dialogue in brisk 45-minute sessions without ever seeing the final scenes. His process was elegant in its simplicity: read David Hasselhoff's lines aloud, memorize the conversational cues, and then respond as KITT right away. This arrangement spared Daniels the challenge of lip sync or the constraints of timing. Instead, the show's editors adapted any on-screen usage to match his quick recordings. This unusual approach not only saved time and money but also allowed Daniels to infuse spontaneity into KITT's retorts. The character's signature dryness sometimes originated from Daniels responding in the moment, building comedic chemistry with Hasselhoff's lines without being swayed by visuals. The result was surprisingly seamless on television. Viewers never suspected that KITT's lines weren't meticulously aligned to the action. The synergy between Hasselhoff and Daniels felt authentic, despite their never filming together. That lightning-fast schedule became a hallmark of Knight Rider's behind-the-scenes efficiency. Daniels' agile voice acting helped shape KITT into a character who always had a witty comeback or a logical solution at the ready, a testament to how a condensed schedule can sometimes spark creativity instead of stifling it. 10. When Hoff and Daniels finally met, it's almost comical that David Hasselhoff, who starred as the dashing Michael Knight, and William Daniels, the voice of KITT, didn't meet in person until the show's first Christmas party. For nearly a full season, Hasselhoff had been delivering lines to a KARR that, in post-production, would be endowed with Daniels' kindly yet sarcastic voice. Meanwhile, Daniels recorded his segments solo. At that holiday gathering, they introduced themselves, struck up a conversation, and shared a good laugh. Both marveled at the odd arrangement. One had been front and center on set each day, while the other worked in a sound booth. Yet together, they formed a beloved dynamic duo that electrified television screens. Meeting face-to-face offered them a rare chance to acknowledge how well their respective efforts meshed. They bonded over the show's growing fan base, praising each other's performances for bringing depth to this man-and-machine partnership. That party encounter was more than just a fun anecdote, it illustrated the unique magic of television production. Sometimes, the synergy we see on screen doesn't require both actors to be in the same room. The camaraderie between Michael Knight and KITT was the result of tight writing, dedicated direction, and voices recorded in isolation. For fans, it's comforting to know that even though they rarely shared physical space, Hasselhoff and Daniels had genuine respect and admiration for each other's craft, forging a chemistry that defined Knight Rider. 11. The self-driving illusion. Long before our modern era of autonomous vehicles, Knight Rider convinced millions that KITT could drive itself with effortless precision. Of course, the reality behind that illusion involved some good old-fashioned Hollywood trickery. A stunt driver would typically crouch in a specially installed seat on the passenger side, carefully hidden from the camera's view. From that vantage point, the driver could steer, brake, and accelerate while the unsuspecting audience saw only an empty driver's seat. These ingenious setups varied by the complexity of each scene. In some action shots, producers relied on carefully angled cameras or fast-paced edits to conceal the real driver's presence. For sequences demanding more elaborate stunts, like jumps over barriers or hairpin turns, expert stunt performers took the wheel from their covert positions, ensuring safety while maintaining the illusion. KITT came off as a fully conscious, reactive machine capable of analyzing obstacles in real time. This technical choreography became a hallmark of Knight Rider, inspiring countless fans to wonder how soon they too could own a car that thinks for itself. Each self-driving stunt hammered home the show's theme: technology may be advanced, but it needs a human spark to truly shine. By blending the stunt team's mechanical ingenuity with the narrative of artificial intelligence, the show set hearts racing and imagination soaring, decades before the idea of autopilot vehicles became even remotely plausible in the real world. 12. The Pontiac Trans Am sales surged. When Knight Rider took off in popularity, so did the demand for Pontiac Trans Ams resembling KITT. Suddenly, viewers wanted to roll down their streets in a glossy black muscle car equipped with a tan interior and that attention-grabbing red scanner light. While real Trans Ams couldn't talk or jump across ravines, the allure was irresistible. People just had to own a car that looked like the star of their favorite show. Pontiac, initially hesitant about associating with a talking car series, found itself benefiting tremendously from the unintentional product placement. Dealerships observed enthusiastic fans pouring in, some just to take pictures with display models, others aiming to drive away in their own slice of Knight Rider magic. Car clubs formed around customizing Trans Ams to precisely mimic KITT's aesthetic, complete with dashboards brimming with replica knobs and flickering LED screens. This phenomenon extended well beyond the show's run. Decades later, you can still find dedicated communities online, exchanging tips on building the most authentic KITT conversions. The wave of nostalgia remains strong, as older fans try to recapture that childhood excitement of cruising alongside a futuristic AI partner. With every black Trans Am customized to evoke KITT's design, Knight Rider's cultural footprint widens. This rare synergy between TV show and automaker underscores just how powerful on-screen storytelling can be in shaping consumer desires, and in forging lifelong passions. 13. The PRICEY Super Pursuit Mode. By its fourth season, Knight Rider had already dazzled viewers with KITT's advanced features and unstoppable persona. So how could the team possibly up the ante? Enter Super Pursuit Mode, a dramatic visual transformation designed by George Barris, the same inventive mind who crafted the 1960s Batmobile. In these sequences, KITT would sprout aerodynamic attachments, flaps, and panel extensions, seemingly ready to rocket off into the distance. Each customized vehicle cost a staggering $188,000 to build, a figure that reflected both the design's complexity and the special mechanics needed to deploy the transformations on camera. While the illusions were breathtaking, they hinged on hydraulics rather than actual speed boosts. Often, the car was filmed standing still as the pieces shifted and locked into pursuit shape, then switched to a separate stunt car for high-speed chases. This patchwork approach allowed the show to maintain the fantasy without needing a functional race-ready car capable of morphing in real time. Though critics sometimes poked fun at the overly theatrical nature of these add-ons, the audience embraced them. The more flamboyant and impossible KITT's capabilities became, the more fans tuned in each week for a fresh dose of escapist thrills. Even if Super Pursuit Mode was mostly an illusion, it encapsulated the show's willingness to amplify its own mythos, delivering spectacle while reminding viewers that in Knight Rider's universe, nothing was too bold or too outlandish when it came to fighting crime in style. 14. Garth Knight, Michael Knight's dark twin. What's more chilling than facing a brilliant, unstoppable vehicle? Facing an equally formidable foe who looks just like our hero. Knight Rider found its prime villain in Garth Knight, Michael Knight's evil doppelganger, embodied by none other than David Hasselhoff himself. Garth, complete with a menacing goatee, drove a towering armored truck named Goliath, a monstrous counterpoint to KITT's sleek sports car silhouette. Where Michael was principled and compassionate, Garth exuded raw ambition and cruelty. Fans quickly latched onto this storyline, reveling in the tension of Hasselhoff squaring off against his own mirror image. However, playing both roles stretched him thin, leading to logistical challenges for the production team. On some days, Hasselhoff would portray Michael's earnest heroism, and on others, he'd slip into Garth's malevolence, switching between sets and costumes in rapid succession. Despite the fan enthusiasm, the physical and emotional toll on Hasselhoff was considerable. He eventually requested producers to let Garth remain an occasional adversary rather than a recurring mainstay. Even so, Garth's appearances were enough to cement him as a top-tier TV villain, remembered for his cold sneer and cunning strategies. With Goliath at his command, Garth Knight proved a formidable hurdle for KITT and Michael, symbolizing not just an external threat, but the haunting possibility of what Michael Knight might have become under darker circumstances. 15. KARR, KITT's rogue predecessor. Evil twins in Knight Rider weren't reserved just for the human characters. Fans were introduced to KARR, short for Knight Automated Roving Robot, a prototype built before KITT. Where KITT was programmed to prioritize human life, KARR's core directive centered on self-preservation above all else, an unsettling flaw that led to its storage and deactivation. When the rogue AI awakens, its single-minded determination to survive and dominate puts Michael Knight and KITT on high alert. KARR made 2 unforgettable appearances, each showcasing a different stage of its evolution. In the initial story, a pair of petty thieves accidentally activates KARR, unleashing a coldly logical ally who sees them as tools for achieving its objectives. Later, KARR returns more vengeful, targeting KITT with renewed fury. The dynamic voice acting, first by Peter Cullen, famous for Optimus Prime, and later by Paul Frees, gave KARR a powerful presence that contrasted with KITT's measured warmth. This villainous twin became a fan favorite, sometimes outshining the human antagonists. Viewers thrilled at the idea of 2 near-indestructible vehicles colliding in epic showdowns. KARR embodied the terrifying potential of AI gone awry, proving that the same technology that made KITT a heroic marvel could, with a twisted priority, become something dark and uncontainable. Each clash between the 2 cars left fans on edge, reinforcing that Knight Rider wasn't just about flashy stunts, it also delved into the moral complexities lurking behind cutting-edge innovation. 16. The DIFF'RENT crossover. Few expect a high-octane show about a vigilante driver and his supercar to intersect with a wholesome sitcom about 2 brothers from different backgrounds. Yet that's exactly what happened in a special crossover episode of Different Strokes, titled, Hooray for Hollywood. Willis and Arnold, the sitcom's lovable main characters, find themselves lost on a tour of a Hollywood set, only to stumble into a predicament involving the Knight Rider production. The comedic interplay was priceless. Arnold's wide-eyed wonder contrasted hilariously with the high-stakes universe of KITT and Michael Knight. In a nail-biting twist, the boys end up trapped in a car rigged for a stunt explosion. Just as panic sets in, David Hasselhoff bursts onto the scene, in full Michael Knight glory, to save the day. The cameo was brief, but it left different strokes audiences cheering for the improbable blend of comedic hijinks and Knight Rider action. Crossovers like this highlighted Knight Rider's expansive cultural reach. It wasn't just an action series tucked away in its own niche, it had become a phenomenon capable of stepping into any setting. More importantly, it allowed both shows to flex their comedic and dramatic muscles, bridging two distinct fan bases for a moment of shared excitement. These cross-pollinated storylines showcased how a single show's resonance could ripple out into unexpected places, creating a richer tapestry of 1980s television for all to enjoy. 17. The other Michael Knight mix-up. Curiously enough, the name Michael Knight didn't solely belong to the Knight Rider hero. There was also a soap opera actor, Michael Knight, best known for his role on All My Children. The overlap sparked endless confusion among fans. Some wrote letters to the soap star, believing he was the same person who fought crime behind the wheel of a futuristic Trans Am. This led the actor to add an E to his name, becoming Michael E. Knight, to differentiate himself from David Hasselhoff's TV alter ego. The confusion was amplified by David Hasselhoff's real-life persona often blending with Michael Knight's on-screen identity. Many viewers viewed them as interchangeable, convinced that Hasselhoff was in fact Michael Knight in real life. Thus, poor Michael E. Knight found himself fielding fan mail asking about KITT, car chases, and advanced AI. Eventually, he navigated the situation with good humor, recognizing it as a byproduct of Knight Rider's massive popularity. In a quirky twist, Michael E. Knight later married Catherine Hickland, an actress who had been married to David Hasselhoff during her time appearing on Knight Rider. This further tangled web of personal and professional relationships delighted fans who followed every detail. The entire mix-up underscored that Knight Rider had transcended the screen, leaving its imprint on people's real lives in ways both amusing and profound. Names, identities, and relationships intersected in unexpected ways, cementing the show's status as a cultural juggernaut. 18. KITT cruises into Grand Theft Auto. As gaming technology evolved, Knight Rider found new life in the digital realm, specifically within the beloved Grand Theft Auto, GTA, series. Starting as a passionate fan mod for GTA 3, KITT appeared in various forms, complete with a working red scanner light and that iconic black exterior. Fans reveled in the chance to recreate chase scenes on virtual city streets, zooming through traffic in a near-indestructible supercar. Over time, these mods grew increasingly sophisticated, featuring custom voice lines, functional turbo boosts, and even cameo dialogues referencing the show. By GTA 5, KITT went official as one of the purchasable in-game vehicles, fulfilling the fantasy for millions of gamers who yearned to slip into Michael Knight's shoes. While the real KITT might remain a dream, the digital version gave fans a thrilling taste of self-driving, or at least heavily assisted, mayhem. This wasn't a simple matter of fans wanting a cool car either, it represented the enduring appeal of Knight Rider. Decades after the last episode aired, an entirely new generation discovered KITT through gaming communities. Younger players asked, "What's this black car with the weird red light?" which led them down the rabbit hole of discovering the original series. Thus, the modding culture wasn't just about nostalgia, it became a bridge connecting modern gamers with classic television, proving that the show's futuristic allure remains timeless. 19. Knight Rider 2000 and Knight Rider 2010. Though the original series concluded in 1986, the Knight Rider universe continued to evolve in made-for-TV movies. In 1991, NBC released Knight Rider 2000, leaping into a not-so-distant future where guns were banned, criminals were cryogenically frozen, and law enforcement relied on progressive technology. Michael Knight returned, teaming once again with KITT, now transferred into a customized 1991 Dodge Stealth. This radical facelift surprised some fans, yet it showcased the producer's desire to keep the show relevant to a changing era. The narrative focused on corruption within the criminal justice system, with KITT's unwavering morality placed in a harsher, more cynical world. Audiences saw the uneasy alliance between the old-school vigilante methods of Michael Knight and a bureaucracy obsessed with efficiency. The film offered a fresh perspective on Knight Rider, although some fans felt the futuristic elements lacked the original's charm. In 1994, Knight Rider 2010 took a more dramatic departure, embracing a post-apocalyptic storyline that diverged sharply from the established lore. With no David Hasselhoff or KITT as viewers knew him, it played out more like a conceptual spin-off than a true continuation. Although these movies didn't spark the same fervor as the original series, they demonstrated the creative team's willingness to experiment with the brand. Each attempt underscored the show's enduring flexibility, proving that while the original Knight Rider formula was lightning in a bottle, there's always room to reinterpret classic heroes in evolving worlds. 20. The reboot roller coaster. Knight Rider's popularity inevitably led to multiple reboot attempts, each aiming to recapture the original's magic while adapting to modern tastes. The first endeavor was Team Knight Rider in 1997, where a specialized squad, rather than one solo hero, handled missions using AI-enhanced vehicles with their own personalities. While it had intriguing ideas, the show never quite found its groove and concluded after just one season. A decade later, NBC tried a more direct revival simply titled Knight Rider. David Hasselhoff even made a nostalgic cameo in the pilot, handing the torch to a younger generation. There were new characters, a state-of-the-art kit brimming with 21st-century gadgets, and an overarching plot designed to extend beyond weekly standalone episodes. Despite early buzz, viewership faltered, and the reboot was cut short at 17 episodes. These disappointments highlight a fundamental challenge: how do you preserve the soul of a show so iconic, while updating it to modern audiences who expect different storytelling styles? Some fans pointed to the absence of the classic Trans Am, others argued that the reboots lacked the chemistry of Hasselhoff and William Daniels. Whatever the reasons, the failures don't diminish the original's legacy. Instead, they serve as reminders that capturing lightning in a bottle again is no small feat. Even if reboots stumble, the memory of KITT's roar and Michael Knight's unwavering determination remains emblazoned in TV history. And there you have it, an in-depth journey into Knight Rider's astonishing history and the remarkable stories that shaped it. If you found these revelations exciting, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with fellow fans or anyone craving a hit of retro cool nostalgia. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.